Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Alberta is My Country. This is a podcast about why Alberta should be an independent country. Don't forget to share far and wide and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Today, we're talking about Canada's greenhouse gas circus, the climate cash grab. We're going to rip the greenwashing off your taxpayer dollars and expose the bullshit you've been footing the bills for. I'm Paul Chauvet. I'm not a suit in Ottawa. I'm just a guy that's tired of watching our money vanish into eco-fantasies while the planet just keeps on spinning. We're diving into Canada's greenhouse gas farce. You know, the one where politicians scream about saving the earth, but end up subsidizing corporate flops that do jack shit for the climate. Buckle up, folks. This one's gonna sting. First off, let's bust the biggest myth your barista or that smug neighbor keeps parroting. Greenhouse gases are the devil, right? Wrong. Most folks think CO2, carbon dioxide, and methane are the big bad wolves. But guess what? The real MVP? It's water vapor. Yep, good old H2O in the sky, making up at least half of the greenhouse gas effect. Without it, and the rest of those gases trapping heat, the Earth would be a frozen popsicle at about 18 degrees Celsius year-round. We're talking Ice Age. But hey, don't take my word for it. Science says so. And most people, when you drop that truth bomb, they just glaze over. They're too busy trying to virtue signal that they have reusable straws. And here's the kicker on CO2. We're in this wild symbiotic dance with plants. We exhale CO2 like it's our job, and every breath that we take pumps it out. And the plants gobble it up through photosynthesis, spitting back oxygen at us for us to suck in. It's the ultimate give and take. We fuel their growth, and they keep us breathing. Without this loop, life as we know it crashes. But the panic pushers, they forget that. They treat CO2 as a poison instead of the plant food that it is in this balanced ecosystem. So wake up. We're not the villains. We're partners in this planetary tango. By the way, quit calling it a carbon tax. It's a carbon dioxide tax. By calling it what it is, hopefully, for some of you, grade 4 science class is going to kick in. Now, let's zoom in on Canada. We're responsible for a whopping 1.4% of the global greenhouse gases. That's about 768 million tons in 2024, out of a planetary pile of about 53 gigatons. Meanwhile, China is chugging around at almost 30%, belching out 15.5 gigatons. It'd take them less than a month to match out our yearly output. And yet, we're the ones getting lectured and being taxed into oblivion. We're over here pretending our piddly little efforts are going to save the day. Come on. So let's talk about our forests. Canada has those massive boreal forests, 25% of the world's boreal zone, sucking up carbon like a vacuum, right? No. These bad boys used to be the net sink, but thanks to wildfires, droughts, bugs, and logging, they flipped to a carbon source since about the early 2000s. In recent years, they're spewing out more CO2 than they store, which adds about 5% to our global emissions. Reforestation could claw billions of greenhouse gas by 2100 if we plant smart. But right now, they're not the heroes we think they are. More like a torn up napkin trying to mop up a flood. So, why the hell are we dumping billions of dollars in these carbon dioxide capture boondoggles? CCUS, which stands for Carbon Capture, Utilization, and Storage, for those not in the know, sounds really sexy on paper. Canada's thrown $7.6 billion in tax credits up to 2030, plus fresh funding calls in 2026 to push projects that are investment ready. We've got 7 operational plants capturing a measly 4 million tons a year, 0.5% of our emissions. Plans for another 26 plants aim to have another 20 to 30 million tons by 2030, but the costs are brutal. $100 to $170 per ton captured, with mega projects like Pathways Alliance hitting $16.5 billion and risking overruns that eat profits alive. Globally, CCUS is a dud. Slow rollout, energy hogging tech that burns 20 to 30% of a plant's output. For our 1.4% global emissions, even if it's maxed out, it's a fart in a hurricane. But the taxpayers, we're the real chumps. We're bankrolling these limited impact circuses. Speaking of taxpayer tears, let's talk EV, the electric vehicle subsidies, the electric dream that's turning into a nightmare. Governments pledged $52.5 billion tax dollars for the sector, luring giants like Stellantis, Northvolt, and Ford with great big checks. So what happened? Northvolt, total train wreck. Quebec's $7 billion battery plant, dead in the water after the Swedish parent went bankrupt in March of 2025, filing for insolvency with $8 billion in debt. We lost $270 million in equity, clawed back some money from frozen accounts, but the rest, poof. No plant, no jobs, just a loss, plus interest. What about Stellantis Nexstar in Windsor, Ontario? They sold their 49% stake to LG in February of 2026 for a laughable $100. Not $100 million, $100. After a whopping $15 billion subsidy bonanza. Now it's churning out energy storage batteries instead of EVs. So, what? Plus, the slowing EV demand in the US and the policy flip by the Trump administration has nuked any incentives. So let's keep going. What about Ford? They scrapped their $1.8 billion EV retooling in Oakville, Ontario, in spite of spending $295 million in subsidies meant to save 5,400 jobs. Their EV division bled $4.7 billion in 2023 and another $1.3 billion in 2024. Now, Ottawa is tossing in another $2.3 billion of your money at new rebates, up to $5,000 for the EVs in 2026, eventually tapering out by 2030. With the EV adoption of about 14% in 2024, it's way below the 20% target for 2026. So that means, well, it's just lipstick on a pig. All right, enough of the doom scrolling through the failures. Let's try to look at some solutions. How do we flip those boreal forests back into productive carbon vacuums without flushing more billions down the corporate toilet? Forget the half-assed 2 billion trees program that's already a bureaucratic mess. Planting willy-nilly without an actual plan. New science says we could suck up 5 times our annual emissions by smartly planting 6 to 32 million hectares along the northern taiga edge, sequestering up to 19 gigatons of CO2 by 2100. That's not just throwing seeds on the ground. It's targeting historically forested gaps with climate-resistant species mixes like spruce and pine that grow well in the north. Reforestation here beats converting open land, hands down. That's more bang for the buck. Less risk of screwing up the permafrost. Number 2, we could restore degraded spots with low impact management, extend harvest rotations to let secondary forests hit their prime carbon sucking age of 20 to 40 years, where they pull in CO2 8 times faster than fresh growth. Throw in prescribed burns and thinning to curb megafires and manage wildfires under chill conditions to clear deadwood without torching the whole show, like what happened in Jasper. And as far as the peatlands, leave those alone. Those soggy carbon vaults under the forests, just keep them locked down. Now, this isn't pie in the sky. It's evidence-based. Taxpayer smart moves that could reverse our forests from emitters to sinks without propping up failing EVs or CCUS pipe dreams. Demand policies from your government that prioritize protection over extraction, because leaving healthy trees standing is the cheapest, toughest climate fighter that we've got. Now, we have to start small, but smart. Aim for native species in your backyard or community to boost those CO2 symbiosis right here at home. Push for carbon farming incentives. Lobby your province for tax breaks on regenerative agriculture that builds soil carbon, turning farms into mini sinks. Now, these steps, they're direct. No BS ways to amp up that plant-human partnership without waiting for Ottawa's next screw-up. This is your money vanishing into corporate pockets if we do nothing. All the while, China just keeps lapping us. We're not saving the planet. Right now, we're just subsidizing failures. But with these fixes, we could actually turn the tide. It's time to demand real accountability, not green fairy tales. So stay skeptical and check your wallet. And remember, my friends, Albertans don't kneel.